Assalamu alaikum. Today we are here with the final video in my top 100 favorite games of all time as of 2023. Now this is going to be the final video. We are finally there. The
The
final
top-
video,
The top 10.
the top 10, the best of the best, the cream de la creme. What do they say? I don't know any French, but the best of the best. So these are my favorite games of all time as of, again, as I said, 2023. So without further ado, let's get on with it, and we'll start with number 10.
On number 10 is Project Elite.
Project Elite is a big game from Simon. Yeah, well, it came from Atipia Games or someone else before that, but Simon picked it up and made a better version out of it, which is essentially going to be a first-person shooter in real-time mode. I am not the biggest fan of real-time games.
I love real time.
I'm not a fan of real-time games because, well, you never know who is cheating in it. You can do whatever you want. Nobody's checking you. But Project Elite
You're
is
so much of a. You're so. How can I say this
Rules
in a polite
lawyer.
way?
rules lawyer, we
Yes.
call it. So, but Project Elite is so much fun that I don't care. If someone else cheated, you don't even get time to check it. You just care that you survive because it's a co-op. That's why I don't care. If it was a competitive game, then maybe I would care. Okay, I'm not really sure that you did everything right. How did you reach up to this point? But it's a co-op one where you will be overthrown by these aliens who are coming and attacking you. You will be just rolling dice and seeing that how many you can kill. Each of your weapon is going to tell that, okay, what's the number, how many successes you need to kill someone. So you will be rolling these dice and then shooting them. But if you get bad dice, then you have to move the aliens yourself towards your which alien. It's all up to you. So maybe you don't want to move the alien right in front of you because it's perfect for you to kill. You will be moving someone else, but then someone else will be yelling at you, don't move, don't move, I have to kill that enemy. Or they might be saying, I'm running out of enemies, send your enemies towards my side. You will be running against time to actually kill these enemies. Still, at the same time, there will be different objectives that you have to complete in this game. The game comes with different kind of game modes, which are going to be different objectives. So not only you have to kill these unlimited supply of enemies, which are never going to finish, you have to complete these objectives at the same time as well. Otherwise, the situation is going to get worse and worse and worse, and sometimes even escape after you have completed your objective and go to a safe zone. The good thing about Project Elite's real-time mode is that these real-time chunks are divided into some breathing rooms as well. So after you do a 2-minute round, you will be then taking a breather. The alarm goes off, it comes with a digital clock. The alarm goes off and then you take a breath. Okay, now you will be doing a strategy session discussing with each other what are we going to do based on the current situation. Okay, that's the bad guy which has come up, we need to kill that one. Okay, these zombies, so you two go over there and then try to deal with this, whereas that objective is pending and I will be able to complete that more easily than you guys, so I will be doing that. Then we will meet back here, but on the way there is a search point and I will be picking up some new weapons from there as well. So you will take that strategy session and then you will start the timer again and the whole chaos starts again as well. A big game, huge number of miniatures that come with this. You will be messing up your whole table and every table will be on all the table. Everyone will be making noise. This game, you cannot just keep quiet and keep rolling dice. You will be yelling at each other. Not because you are angry, just because you are having that much fun. And that's why it's my number 10, Project Elite.
I do have some faint memories of this game, but I will say, I think I was very scared of the alarm clock because it was very scary. Like, it had a very scary sound.
No.
No, I don't remember. I think I was scared of it though.
More scared than aliens?
Possibly. And I absolutely love this game just because it has the real-time factor. Because I love the feeling of vaporizing enemies without taking too much time. Like, I just want to get done and over with. I want to kill everyone, and I don't want anyone to ask questions. Thank you very much. Also, check out my father's legacy on this game. It's very cool.
Yeah, so that's number 10, Project Elite.
Next up, on number 9, is a game that I have not played personally, Hero Realms.
Hero Realms. So Hero Realms is a deck building game in the same line as Star Realms. Even though there have been so many deck building games, and for each deck building game I have a reason that why I love that deck building game. For Hero Realms, all those reasons go in opposite direction, because Hero Realms is negating any special thing that's available in this one. There is nothing that makes this game special, and maybe that's why it's so special to me. It has no unique mechanisms in
Like,
it,
it
no
doesn't
unique.
it doesn't sell itself as something extraordinary. It's just like, hey, this is a game. If you want, you can play it.
Sometimes you just need vanilla ice cream.
Yes,
You don't need raspberry cotton candy fluffy fluff. You
cotton.
just need vanilla ice cream. And that's what Hero Realms is, a pure deck building experience with nothing else. You will be picking up from the market different suit of cards, and each suit of card, if you heavily invest in one suit of card, then those cards are going to increase each other's power. But of course you want to invest in all variety of cards. The green cards are going to be better for healing you, the red cards are better at attack, the blue cards are better at giving you economy to buy better cards. So you want to invest a little bit on everything, but then you will have a weaker deck. But if you had a lot of red cards, then they can, whenever you shuffle your cards and pick random hand of cards, then they can always act with each other and make each other powerful. Very simple mechanisms in this one, and you're playing head to head and doing combat. The reason why it became much better for me was when it came with its expansions, and I bought the co-op expansions for this, because with my family I prefer to play this as co-op with my wife, and we played a lot of it as co-op, in which instead of playing against each other, which you can still play, instead of playing against each other, there is one master boss fight, and you're trying to play against them. And that master boss fight, every boss fight is unique, and they are going to do something different. So there will be a story element, and then a boss fight which is going to be different, doing different things to the market, to your hand of cards. It will come with its own minions, things like that are going to be there, which makes this game really something different. Again, presented a story using a very simple deck building mechanism, which wasn't there in the base game by itself. The game then came with different character packs. So if you don't want your characters to be both symmetrical, then one player can take a visit character card, character deck, and the other can take, let's say, a fighter or a rogue, and accordingly they will have some cards which are unique to them other than the standard cards, and those abilities to have upgrades as well. So as you play through the campaign, then those cards are going to get permanent upgrades as well based on your character. So only if you play with those characters, they will get upgrades. So wholly enjoyable deck building game. It doesn't get as much simpler than this, and then if you enjoy it, it gets above it. The other charming thing about this one was the artwork of this, because rarely I have seen that the card artwork really matches the theme of the game. So for example, if the card is going to say, okay, you get 3 money, the card art is going to represent how you got that 3 money. Maybe it's showing you that your character is actually stealing from the pocket of someone. So you know, understand, that's what's happening. If there is green leaves and you are wrapped in it, so it's providing you healing. So the artwork always matched what was the kind of thing which was mentioned on the card, the special abilities on the card. So artwork was always a plus point for this. I could just look at the card and understand from the art what's going to be its ability. So one of my favorite deck building games, Hero Realms, but not my favorite. The favorite one is still to come.
I'm so excited. Next up on number 8 is another classic, Jaipur.
Jaipur.
Sorry, I'm not sure.
Sorry about that. So the next one is Jaipur, and Jaipur is a classic 2-player game in which you will be playing in a market Euro game, but it's a card game in which you will be having a market of different things. You will be having a head of cards representing different things. And what you will be doing is that you will be exchanging those goods and trying to make sets. It's a set collection game. Once you have enough of a set of things, for example, silk cloth, leather, jewels, then you can sell them in the market in your turn. The more items you sell, the more points you're going to get, but the faster you sell, the more points you're going to get as well. So you have to find the balance. When do I have enough cards that I can get the earliest selling bonus, or do I want to wait for my more cards to be there so that I can get the bigger bonus for having sold the more more bigger collection of things? Then each thing is going to have different kind of worth. Jewels are worth much more than spice, which is much worth than your leather goods. So accordingly, sometimes you will see, okay, I have a lot of leather in my hand. Your hand is a number of cards in the hand are limited, but there is a lot of spice available in the market. So maybe I right now will lose all my leather and replace them with spice, because that's how much storage you have, and then sell the spice as long as I can make those combinations. Then there are these camel cards which add much more fun as well, because you can exchange all the camels. You can pick up all the camels from the market. Otherwise you get to pick up one thing, but with camels you get to pick up all the camels from the market. And then in future you can, instead of giving anything to the market, you can just give them camels, and camels don't even add to your hand limit in the hand. So they add a good variety. But if you end up with the most camels at the end of the game, that's worth points as well. So maybe you don't want to lose those camels. A really good back and forth set collection market game. Very simple mechanics, beautiful artwork. Whether you buy the original edition or the new edition with the Vincent Dutrait artwork, I think even the original artwork is just fine. Whichever version you can get your hands on, this is always going to remain a classic two-player game in my opinion. Jaipur. What's your opinion?
I always get the most camels at the end. That's my opinion. That's all I say. I would say I'm kind of good at this game, and thus I like it. If I'm good at the game, I like it.
All right. So that's
Now let me finish.
okay.
The mechanisms are really nice, and I especially just love the feeling of that. Okay, if I can do this, then I can get those cards, and that'll help me gain more of that. And so once I get these points, I can maybe do this and that, and it's amazing. I love that.
So that's Jaipur. And the next one is
The first ever game we bought that got us into this hobby, CATAN.
on number
7.
7. So Catan, well, of course we had board games before that, but when we talk about hobby board games, then Catan is going to be the first one, and it's still in my top 10. I still love this game, even though the game has its, again, people uh, go out of love of Catan once they are too much in the hobby, but not me. I still love this game, and I think if anyone ask for a recommendation, I still tell them buy Catan or Ticket to Ride, but I still tell them get Catan, because even though Ticket to Ride is a more famous game at this point, I think among hobby board gamers, but in my opinion, those all gamers are trying to shift from Monopoly, and the main thing about Monopoly is not the any mechanisms in that one. People don't even know what mechanism exists in Monopoly. People just love the feeling of money in that game, and Catan can be a great substitute of that, because when you get these resource cards in your hand, you feel, oh, I'm getting something. So these are worth these many points. I'm getting victory points. So victory point concept, they are not familiar, but when they get these resources, they feel powerful. Oh, I have ore, I have sheep, I have wheat. So that's a good substitute for the money that they used to collect. In any other game, in any other mass market game, they don't get to collect any other thing other than Monopoly. So in my opinion, that's why Monopoly is still the best mass market game, because people like collecting things. People are hoarders. at
We're
their core.
hoarders at heart.
So give them a better something to hold on, and that will be Catan until the thief comes. Catan, who I don't think anyone will be here who doesn't know about Catan, but in Catan there will be these hexes, and you will be placing your cities on these vertices of hexes, and wherever your vertex is, you will be rolling a dice based on whatever comes on the dice. You can get those resources if your city is on the vertex of it. And that's when maybe some people have some issues with Catan, that it's too much luck based. If your dice roll doesn't come, then you are going to suffer. Plus, if during the setup phase you were unable to place your cities on good locations, then you're going to suffer as well. But these are the things that you will learn. You can explain them to the new gamers as well, and even if it is a new gamer, they are not going to understand the strategy on day one. That's why they are going to have an interest. Oh, now I understand. I want to play another game. I want to play another game. This time I want to improve. This time I want to use the ports. So the game can have multiple layers of play as well, and they are going to still enjoy. And I still enjoy playing Catan. Still, even with so many games played, I still love playing Catan, and that's why it's on my number 7, Catan.
I really do have to applaud this game on how it can be so simple, easy to understand, bare bones, if you will. Well, not really bare bones. No, I take that back. But it's very simple, but it still makes you feel so good. Like, it's very rewarding. Um, Obviously, I have to talk about me. And I have to talk about how in nearly every game, especially when we were like playing this few and few, I would turn all of my buildings into hotels and thus be the master.
Well, villages into cities,
Villages into cities, yeah.
hotels. We are not playing Monopoly.
No,
In Monopoly, we change the houses to hotels.
no, I don't think we did.
In Monopoly, we do.
I think, didn't they just remain houses?
No, they change houses into hotels once you have every color. But anyway, this is not about Monopoly. This is about Catan.
I mixed things up. Sorry about that.
But in Catan, if you can pay for resources, then you can upgrade your village to a city level,
And I
which is worth
especially-
2 victory points.
And I especially love rolling that little dice, getting the little 7, and then stealing from my father.
Yep, the thief is very naughty. Alright, so that's number 7, Catan.
Next up on number 6 is Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion.
Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion is a dungeon crawler which simplified the Gloomhaven game and the dungeon crawlers while keeping the core essence of the bigger Gloomhaven game. The map setup in any dungeon crawler is going to be always laborious, and Jaws of the Lion simplified it. Its setup is still going to take time. You still have to figure out, okay, these are the enemy cards that I have to take out, these are the enemy standees that I have to take and set them up. Those things you still have to do, but at least you're cutting down the biggest chunk of your setup time by having a flip book of maps. So you will just say, okay, page number 16, I'll flip to it, and the map is directly on the flip book. So that adventure book is a lifesaver. The rules are directly written on the page as well as the map. The gameplay has been simplified as well. If you never knew Gloomhaven rules, you can start playing with Adventure 1, and the game is going to guide you how to play. And with each of those missions that you complete, the game is going to add new and new rules until you understand all the rules in 3-4 missions. The game itself is what makes Gloomhaven one of the best game. It has been on BGG top 1 for a very long time, and now it's on top 2. But still, the gameplay of Gloomhaven is what makes this game unique, because you are going to get your hand of cards, and each card is going to be divided into 2. So you will be playing those cards and selecting, okay, which side you're going to play. You will be playing those 2 cards, one side up, one side down, and the initiative order that you want to play early or below. For initiative, you will be doing very limited communication. That card play is going to be unique. And if your hand of cards finishes, then you have to lose 1 card, which is acting as a round timer as well. So your abilities are going to be limited as the time goes on, which is to me a thematic sense as well, that you are getting tired as you go through the dungeon. So rather than feeling more powerful, you're feeling tired, exhausted, and you have less energy to complete the objective. So the game essentially is coming to few last hand of cards while you have to complete the objective, and you're doing these fights with these monsters, which are just incredible variety of world that the designers have
Like the
made for
world
this
building?
one. Yeah, because every monster is unique in this one. It's not your standard trope of goblins and orcs. These are all unique monsters, are
Like they're
very
completely
unique.
made up.
Yes, a complete new world. So a lovely game, lovely characters, and each character in Gloomhaven is unique as well, which players get to play. So when they are contributing as a team, that makes them. There can be no hand holding in this one. There can be no quarterbacking in this one. That one player is telling, like in Pandemic, okay, do this, do this, do this. You cannot do that because everyone is unique and they have their own limited cards. So they have to guess what they want to do. Just absolutely fun game. Gloomhaven, especially the version Jaws of the Lion.
Alright, you really like this game. You went on a whole rant there. Next up on this list is number 5, Pandemic Legacy Season 0.
So the last Pandemic, I can promise you for now that this is the last Pandemic game on my top 100 list. But Season 0, in my opinion, was the best Pandemic game. The game concept is similar, that there are going to be, instead of diseases, now there are going to be KGB agents that are going to be in different cities, and you have to take care of them. Because this game is set in the Cold War era, so rather than being doctors, you are agents, CIA agents, who are posing as doctors, going in these areas, and you are eliminating them. But each city in that area, as was in the Cold War era, each city is divided. Some cities have taken the side of the blue side, the US side, and some have taken the red side, KGB side, Russian side. Some are undecided as well. So there are these different cities, and based on that, difficulty is going to be different for entering those cities as well. The game came with beautiful passports where you had to customize your look, you had to put stickers, which has
Like
nothing to
real-
do with element. Yeah, they look like real passport. It had no gameplay element, but just the fun of those things. Oh, mustache. Oh, new wigs.
I can customize my character. That's
Yeah,
new.
you customize your passport, and you can have multiple passports for, okay, this is the passport I'm going to use to go to Russia, this is the passport I go to use to go to the allies countries, etc, etc. But then those characters are going to have those special abilities as well, that what am I going to do. And then of course there are scars. But another unique thing that made this one actually stand out more for me were those CIA reporting things, because every mission is going to give you some information, and then you have to decide. There will be those interrogations or debriefing sessions where you have to sit with the CIA superior, and they are going to debrief you and ask you, and you have to then select how much information you want to give back to them. Do you really trust them? Because there will be issues of trust in this one. Based on those, there will be psychic evaluations as well of you,
Psychic
and you had to give answers. What answer do you want to give? Based on that, you will select and put them in envelope and forget about that. And maybe after few missions, it will say, okay, take it out. Did you get these many points? Then
I don't think we got
read
many
this.
points.
So it was always crucial. Okay, the CIA wants us to say that, for example, to get information out of someone, would you do anything to torture that person? Would you even go up to kill him? So that will be a question, and you have to say yes or no in the questionnaire. Okay, what do I do? If I say no, then CIA will think I'm a weak person. But if I say yes, do they think I'm a cruel person? What do I do? Those questions really. So, other than once you have played the whole mission, that was really unique. Then the gameplay itself, they added a lot new mechanisms in this one. Sometimes you will go to a city, but within the city it will open a small map which shows a location, a house, where you have to go inside the house and do secret. You have to collect files, and you have to discard specific cards to go through locks, and there will be kind of a maze. Okay, I can go through this, but then there is a lock over there. So it added all those mechanisms as well. And to me, that made this pandemic game my most favorite pandemic game of them all. While keeping the core same, they added so much more in it that I just love it. So that's Pandemic Legacy Season 0.
I can't remember much of the game and its mechanics itself, but the only thing I do remember are those questionnaires and how much tension I had in my body.
Alright, so what's next?
Next up, on number 4, we're getting so close, Colt Express.
Colt Express. So maybe at one time this game used to be on my number 1, but right now it's on number 4.
It's still pretty close.
Still pretty close. And from here onward, I think from 1 to 4, any game can be put on my number 1 on any day of the week, and I won't mind. Not number 5, but up to number 4, any game can be put in my top 1, and they are all fine. So consider all of them top 1. I had to make someone top 1, but Colt Express, people have a kind of a hate relation with this one, but I just love this game because of the chaos. Any game which has chaos is going to get additional points from
We
me.
mentioned this in a previous video, but we love chaos.
Yeah. It is a programming game in which you are having this 3D train with 2 layers in which you are moving your meeples, stealing loot, and then have to get off the train. Well, stealing the maximum loot before the end of the round. Each round is going to have different things. Certain set of rounds are going to be played. That's what you're doing in this one. But how you are actually moving around the train, shooting each other, looting is through a hand of cards. You will be using these cards, but you have to play them face down, and they will be going in one sequence. So you don't actually get to do that right now. So you will be placing it face down. Someone else will say, I will do this. They will put it face down, then someone else, then it will come back to you. Next, I will do this. So you actually don't know what someone else did, but you are planning, this is what I will do. I think the other guy will be doing this based on the current situation of the train. Other guy will be doing this, so I should go up and then shoot. There is no one currently on top side of the train, but I think the guy will be up there by the time I shoot. You're planning these actions in a deck of cards, and then the cards will be flipped once the round ends, and then the actions will be taken. Okay, move left or right, then you will be moving your meeple. Okay, this character, green character, goes up. Okay, green went up. The yellow character shoots. Oh, yellow shot, but there is no one there, so they shot in the air. Okay, loot. Oh, someone else picked up the loot before me. Someone else played the loot card before me. Now nothing is left. The gem I wanted to collect is gone. So that kind of hilarity will be ensured, but you are still going to always be able to, 80% you will be able to deduce what others are going to do. 20% will be the chaos element, where your well-made plans are going to go wrong because someone else did something stupid which they weren't supposed to do, because somebody thought, instead of this I'm going over there, and I will be calling a marshal, because the marshal is also one of the guys which is a non-playable character which comes, and if he comes in any of the train cabins, then he's going to shoot everyone and everyone moves up. So you never planned for that. Now if I play a loot, there is nothing to loot on the roof of the train. So good. I have the horse carriage expansion for it, which can add more dynamic elements, that you can jump to that horse carriage and take players hostage as well. Just lovely action filled game which is really thematic to the cowboy theme which this game brings. So lovely game, Colt Express.
Even though I have not played the horse expansion pack, I just still really love games where you just sort of have to think really hard, use your inner psychic powers to think that, okay, what if this player does this? If I can do this, then maybe I can, maybe shoot them or loot this before them. But what if they don't do it? Then what should I do then? And so there's always like thinking twice, thinking thrice, thinking 10 times. And I just love that.
Alright, so that's number 4, Colt Express. And on number 3 is
Legends of Andor.
Legends of Andor, a game you have not played. It's on my top, as I said, top 1 to 4. Anyone can substitute, and you have not played that game. That's a sad state. So
I'm sorry.
Legends of Andor, On its face value looks like an Ameritrash game where you will have your character. Everything is a standing in this one, no miniatures, where you will have your characters, which can be archer, sword fighter, magician, who will be going around this huge map, and there will be monsters popping up and you will be killing them, completing different kind of objective. Looks very simple, but this is essentially a puzzle game rather than a Ameritrash game. You don't want to kill everyone in this one, because the more time you spend in by killing someone, there is a timer running in this game as well, and the timer is going to move and you won't have enough time to actually complete your main objective of the game. So you want to complete the objective but kill the minimum number of essential enemies, because sometimes these enemies are going to block your path, so there is no way around other than by killing them. At the same time, other than completing the objective, there is always going to be the castle, which is always under threat, and these enemies are moving, always following these arrows which are mentioned on the map to go towards the castle, and they are trying to enter the castle. The castle has a certain defense value. If you are unable to protect the castle, then it's going to be demolished as well. That's also a losing condition. So you have to kill those enemies which are going to enter the castle. So another essential thing which you have to do, but you don't want to kill all of them. So you might be thinking, okay, I will be killing that one because this enemy jumps over the other one, but if that one jumps and then later on this one moves as well, then this is going to enter my castle. So I have to kill the one in the center rather than the one in the front. And the one in the front, okay, I will let it come inside. You have to make compromises in this one, whereas your other characters are trying to complete the other objective. Maybe sometimes in the fog they will be trying to find a witch, maybe they will be going to the caves to find the dwarfs king to complete some objective, maybe they are finding some herbs which are needed to make a medicine. Whatever the other quests are, each quest is going to be different, and when you reach that location, the game comes with a deck of cards for each mission, and you will be only revealing that card at that time. To understand, it will reveal a story element and then few new things that you have to do accomplish. So maybe the complete objective of the game is not even revealed at the start, so you don't know how much time. Sometimes those events are going to happen at a certain time in the game, even whether you have completed something or not. So there will be events triggered at that time, because there will be time tokens placed on those location on the time track. So if you have hit the 7th day, some event is going to happen, and at that time you will reveal a card to see what was the event that's going to happen. That these missions do make the game less replayable, because you always know this is the actual story of the mission. But what the designer has done is, Michael Menzel, that for such kind of events, for each of the missions, he had made a few randomized cards, so you will be picking one of those. So even though the overall story is going to remain the same, but in one you might be fighting against the dark wizard who is doing that, but in the other one maybe the witch had done a curse and you have to kill that. So overall story remains the same, whereas few twists are going to be different, or the objective is going to be randomized, and that way the replayability has been added. Now this is going to include all the expansions for it as well, because I have the expansion and they may just add more to the game, make it much more better. Even though the third expansion is kind of standalone, but you can consider it as an expansion as well, or you can play it separately. But the original Legends of Andor is really what I do recommend as one of my favorite games, Legends of Andor.
Next up on our list, on number 2, is Clank, Legacy Acquisitions Incorporated.
Yeah. So Clank Legacy Acquisitions Incorporated, as I had said, that Hero Realms might not be the only last deck building game on my favorite list. So Clank uses deck building mechanism, and it's the forefront mechanism, but it's not the only mechanism. As I had mentioned before, that many times, that I love when deck building combines with something else as well, and Clank does that very efficiently, because it has a dungeon board in which you will be exploring different dungeons, you will be trying to collect the loot on a board, and then trying to escape. Whichever character escapes first, then the dragon starts attacking the remaining players more and more, and maybe because they are producing clank, which is the noise. So the more noise you create, the more dragon attacks are going to come, the more they are going to hurt you. So everyone is panicking, trying to run back to their location with the artifacts. Collecting an artifact from these caves is essential to win. If you are unable to do so, then you cannot win. That's the core clank game. What you will be also, but how you will be moving, how you will be fighting, how you will be traversing these, or how you will be upgrading is through your deck of cards, which you will be using to actually move around these tavern. There will be symbols on your cards, but then using the points of those cards you can buy improvement cards as well, and that's what you are doing to improve. But the clank I have put here is the legacy version, which to me is the definitive version which definitive version which anyone should get. Why? Because of the story. It starts as, you can think of this legacy game as a fully replayable one. Well, not fully replayable legacy game, but it's a playable game after you have completed the game. So you don't destroy the game, you don't burn it off, you can still play it. You can consider this clank with one or two expansions built into it. When you start, the map is very small, but as you play the legacy game, after each of other than a fantastic and hilarious story, you will be adding stickers to the map board, increasing the map size. You will be naming things, you will be customizing cards, you will be adding more cards to your decks. More things will be added each and every time that you play. There will be a whole easily 30 minutes spent after the game where you will be customizing, adding things to your game, new things. Every time there is some new thing added to the game, opening mystery boxes, having such an enjoyable time exploring and getting new revelations. Oh, look at this, what's happened here now. And how the story plays out gives you multiple options. It's not a fixed story. There are things giving you options. Okay, do you want to do this or this? And accordingly read a different paragraph in the book of secrets. Such a fantastic and hilarious game. So my absolute favorite, Clank Legacy Acquisitions Incorporated.
I have so many words about this game, but I'll try to keep it down to a minimum, and I'll start off by saying that this was the first deck building game that I actively enjoyed. I knew it was about deck building, and even though I was skeptical about playing it, I still really enjoyed it. It was wonderful. Great experience.
Yeah, you hadn't played the legacy one. You played after we completed the legacy.
I'm sad about that.
But we are waiting for the second one, so the Clank Legacy 2 is coming. So I'm excited for that. Alright.
I also really like the factor in this game that you can try to get every point, but you know you won't be able to. You'll only be able to get some stuff, and then you have to run back before you die, inevitably.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it, but I just like it a lot.
You like it a lot? I like it a lot as well. So that's number 2, Clank Legacy Acquisitions Incorporated.
If you told me that which deck building game I would only ever say yes to, it's Clank Legacy.
Alright. Now, moving on to the best game of all time. It is
Cthulhu That May Die. Glad I said that loud.
So, a big game from Rob Davio. Well, Rob Davio has a lot of games here on this list. Pandemic was legacy games are from him, but this is not a legacy game, but this came from him as well.
We really like Rob Davio.
And Cthulhu Death May Die is a dungeon crawler, but with a lovely theme, a unique theme, and a twist on everything that happens in Cthulhu in Fantasy Flight games. In Fantasy Flight games, Cthulhu games are kind of depressing and
this is so gloomy
and doom filled, whereas in this one it's more pulp action. Wow. So you will be shooting in the face of Cthulhu in this one.
I love that.
You will be, again, it's a dungeon crawler where you will be going around. The cool thing about this one is that each mission is a self-contained episode. So even though there are tiles which you have to set up, but then the game comes with these episode boxes. So you open that episode box, it's going to have a deck of cards which is related to that episode, which is going to show an episode, well, small objective card, how to lay out the map. But then you can mix any old one that you have, which is the big nemesis, you can shuffle those up in it. And that's how you form the bad mythos deck. And every round the mythos deck is going to be revealed and something bad is going to happen.
Something horrible.
More cultists are going to spawn, they are going to move, bigger bad guys are going to be spawned, the elder ones are going to come, things like that are going to happen, and you have to of course complete your overall objective as well as kill these monsters. So rather than running, this game is about shooting them, killing them. And how the game facilitates that is that rather than you becoming the tiny exhausted measly one in front of them, you are going insane in this game as well. Just like this overall concept of HP Lovecraft stories, any Cthulhu story, you are going insane. But the more insane you go, the more powerful you're getting. So, and that is the unique mechanism that sometimes you do want to go insane. Let me go insane, and that is going to make me powerful, and I'm going to take all of them down single-handedly. So previously when I was, for example, and each character is going to be different. So previously you were checking dice and you were killing one person, but now when I check dice, anyone who is in my space, they all die. You will be doing that. So another ability lets you add one more dice when you're doing hand-to-hand combat. A dice will let you shoot people one space away from you.
And then they will basically let you become a walking machine gun.
Yeah. Each character is going to have these different abilities. The game comes with a lot of variety of characters, and that's how the replayability is going to be high, because you can mix any old one with any episode. Then you can take a variety of characters, and each character is going to be different as well. Now the new Cthulhu Death May Die season 3 is going to come. Season 3, 4, both are going to come, and I'm really excited for that, because in that they have increased the variability a little bit more. How they have done that is that other than the old one, the medium level monsters used to be same for every mission, fixed for every mission, but now they get their own randomizer as well. So you can mix those as well, and each time you're going to have random monsters popping up. So that adds to the fun of the game as well, because each of these monsters are so unique. Some monsters are causing fire, some monsters are causing sanity, some monsters are causing again just pure damage based on how many.
My father, he showed me the Kickstarter, and it just looks like pure unfiltered chaos. You will be burning in flames, but you won't even care because you're having so much fun.
And the old ones are going to be all unique as well, which are the final boss fights, because you have to fight them. They are really difficult, and the more you kill them, they become more powerful as well. They have 3 level of stages. So if you kill stage 1, the number of dice they are going to roll for their attacks increases as well, and they do these horrible things on every turn. So if you are unable to complete the overall objective of the game, they come to the game board as invincible characters if you are able to not able to stop the ritual. But if you are able to stop the ritual, then they come as, well, defeatable, killable, but it's going to be hard to kill them, because with each of their death, well, stage killed, they increase the number of dice that they can use to actually hurt you. And different abilities they have, other than the dice, they have different abilities that get unlocked each time as well, which makes them more and more powerful, and you will be desperate, and many times you will be just winning at the edge of nick of time, at the edge of your last health and sanity, because if you go completely insane, you are lost as well. So just the perfect balance of game, I think, and so much fun. You will be laughing at all the enjoyment that you're going to get in Cthulhu Death May Die.
It looks like such a difficult and gloomy and sad and crying for help game, but no, you'll be laughing all the way through. You'll be laughing either out of humor or out of insanity.
Or rather at misery that you have put yourself in.
Yes.
So that's my number 1, Cthulhu Death May Die.
Oh, I still have a lot to say. I love how this game, it actually made the fight difficult. I don't want to walk up to Cthulhu, shoot him in the face and he dies. No, I want to shoot him everywhere. Give me he's basically God, right?
Yeah, an elder god.
Give me an elder one that I can actually kill, but he will tear me down with him. And of course I have to talk about my father, because he was absolutely horrible at this game.
As usual.
First of all, when you have instances where cultists and monsters, they will just gather up in one tiny space, and this man will just go running into them with no care in the world. You'll have a party with them. Say it. What did you used to say?
Party, party, ooh, 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 ooh.
Like, what are you asking for? A death wish?
I'm a peaceful person. I don't want to kill them. What if we can all party together rather than die?
They want to kill you. They want to use your heart and eat it. Not to mention, one of the characters he played, I think it was like some sort of sheriff or police officer,
Yeah.
they had a gun. Do you know what he used with that gun? He would pull the trigger and fail so horribly. Is the metal rusted?
I don't want to shoot anyone.
You're going. Okay, that's enough. My finger's tired. It's cramping. I'm dead.
Alright.
No, I'm
You're
not
still
finished.
not done?
I'm
Okay.
not finished.
Okay.
I'm gonna. And of course, every game, he just had to die first.
Yeah, because I wanted to save all of you. So I was giving the sacrifice.
No. He would die in the most pathetic way possible. Like again, running into a group and dying. He would run straight up in Cthulhu's face, wave at him, give him a good hug, and then he'd die. And then I would have to be left to fight the other one. And I'd just slap him and he'd die. Okay, I'm done.
Alright. So, with the Ishal's excitement, you might have understood that what kind of shenanigans used to happen at our table when we were playing Cthulhu Death May Die. And that's all you want from a game. You want a fun time with anyone. So it doesn't matter what the theme of the game is, what the objective of the game is, as long as you are having fun with your friends, with your family, then that is going to be the best game for you. Doesn't have to be the best game that was for me. You have to see what's the best game for you. And Cthulhu Death May Die worked as like a charm for my family at providing us hours and hours and hours of fun. So that's my number one, Cthulhu Death May Die.
This is quite a note we ended on. And
Yeah.
now my neck is sore.
Alright, so that brings us to the end of my top 100 games. I don't know how often I will do it, maybe after 2 years, maybe big changes have to come, but I don't think maybe some really good games come out, but otherwise, all three of these games have their expansions coming up in near future. So Cthulhu Death May Die season 3 and 4 is going to come via Kickstarter in the next year. Then Clank Legacies 2 is going to come in the next year. Then Legends of Andor has the Eternal Winter expansion coming up in the next year. And all these expansions are going to just feed my love for the games that I already have. So I think it will be hard to beat any of them. But again, any game can come and take the position of these games, and I hope they do, because again, who doesn't want more good games? So with that, let's finish this top 100. Hope you had an enjoyable time with us while watching this top 100 series.
I hope you enjoyed watching me berate my father and all his board games.
Yep, revealing all my mysteries of how I lose. Alright, so that's it from us. Happy gaming.